They say the truth will set you free. I'm here to tell you sometimes it just pisses you off. 7 in the morning, I'm in my driveway, half awake, hosing down my wife's Honda. Not just any Honda, her specially modified ride, with hand controls that ate up 3 months of my overtime. My boots are wet, the hose keeps kinking like it has a personal vendetta, and the sun's barely made it over the rooftops. This is my ritual. Take care of the car, take care of her, take care of everything. That's what I do. That's who I am. Then I screw it up. Water arcs off the windshield and sprays right inside, straight onto her phone sitting on the dash. Damn, I mutter, killing the hose. The thing's slick with water now, bright screen waking up like it's mocking me. I grab it, shake it once, twice, trying to keep from frying her lifeline. No passcode, no fingerprint lock. Tara always said she didn't bother. Too much trouble with my hands, she'd shrug. Ain't nobody gonna snoop through a disabled woman's phone anyway. Yeah, about that. The message pops right up on the screen, big and bold like fate wanted me to see it. Can't wait to feel you again tonight. Will's working late, right? Ah. And just like that, my chest turns to stone. My name is Will, and in that moment I knew this was the start of the worst day of my life. 8 years married, 3 of them spent as her full-time caretaker since the accident. I turned down a supervisor job because it meant travel, sold my motorcycle to buy her medical equipment, built ramps, lowered counters, turned my whole damn house into a shrine to her comfort. And what do I get in return? A text from Rick Donnelly. Rick, my so-called best friend. The man who used to flip burgers with me at backyard cookouts. The man who helped me install that wheelchair ramp like he was part of the family. The man who owns the gym where Tara goes for therapy 3 times a week. My thumb hovers, then I scroll, and each line I read is another punch I don't block. Photos, messages so explicit they leave nothing to imagination. Jokes about my devotion, my so-called saint routine. And then the group chat. Tara with her girls Gina and April. Saint Will at it again, made me breakfast in bed like I'm some kind of invalid princess. Poor guy, April replies. Does he actually think you still love him? He's useful, Tara types. Free healthcare, disability checks, and he does everything around here. Rick says watching him be so devoted is hilarious. Makes it even better. Gina drops a laughing emoji. You're terrible. I love it. Does he even know you can walk short distances now? Hell no. Let him keep thinking I'm helpless. Works in my favour. I don't even realise the hose is still running, pooling around my boots until the chill cuts through my socks. My hands are shaking, but not from the cold, from something else, something sharp and focused. The porch door squeaks. Tara rolls Yipsur, dressed in the new blue dress I bought her last week. Hair done, eyes bright. She moves a little too quick for somebody fatigued. Her smile looks painted on, her tone sweet as honey, gone sour. Will, you okay, honey? You look pale. Hold up the phone like nothing's wrong. Got wet. I was drying it off. She wheels closer, snatches it with just a little too much speed. Thanks, babe, you always taking care of me. The performance is flawless. If I hadn't just read her words, I'd almost believe it. 8 years of marriage. 3 years of sacrifice. And in less than 2 minutes, a garden hose showed me the truth. And the truth? The truth don't feel like freedom. It feels like fire crawling under your skin. I sat down at the kitchen table with her phone still damp in my hand, the hose water drying white on my boots. My thumbs scrolled without me even thinking about it, like I was running wires blind, looking for where the current was leaking. And what I found is, it wasn't just a spark, it was a full-on fire. The first thing that hit me were the photos, not the kind you put on a Christmas card, not the kind you show your mama. These were taken in places I knew too well. Rick's office, the same gym where I carried her inside for therapy sessions, thinking I was helping her heal. Pictures of her smiling at his camera like I wasn't even real. Pictures of them together, close, sweaty, laughing at what they were doing. I should have stopped right there, but I couldn't. Then came the words, threads of text stacked like insults, promises to meet, little coded jokes, detailed play-by-plays of things I'd been too naive to imagine. Each line was a wire strip cutting another layer off my skin. And then, the group chat. Tara with Gina and April, her 2 closest girls. I braced myself, but I wasn't ready. St. Will at it again, she typed. Made me breakfast in bed like I'm some kind of invalid princess. I read it twice, 3 times. St. Will, like I was some punchline. Poor guy, April answered. Does he really think you still love him? He's useful, Tara shot back. Free healthcare. I said, free care, disability checks, and he does everything. Rick says watching him be so devoted is hilarious. Makes it even better. Gina tossed in a laughing emoji. Girl, you're terrible. I love it. Does he even know you can walk short distances now? Hell no. Let him keep thinking I'm helpless. Works in my favour. The words blurred. I blinked, but they stayed. My stomach turned cold, colder than the hose water soaking my socks. I'd been a husband, a nurse, a mechanic, a handyman, a damn chauffeur. I sold my bike to buy her equipment, gave up my promotion so she wouldn't be alone, let friendships erode rust because she needed me home. And to her, to them, I wasn't a man. I was a service, a free ride, a joke. Stopped feeling like betrayal and started feeling like mockery. Cheating I could have maybe swallowed, burned through, maybe even forgiven if it came with a tear and a sorry. But this was cruel, this was calculated. My hands were steady now, too steady. That hot, wild anger I thought I'd feel wasn't there. In its place was something colder, sharper, like when a breaker box hums wrong and you know exactly which switch to flip. And sitting at that table, phone screens still glowing with their laughter, I had my first real thought since the water sprayed inside the car. This isn't just about love lost. This is about me being played for a fool. And I don't plan on playing anymore. The house looks different when you finally take the blinders off. For 3 years I thought I was looking at proof of love, proof of sacrifice. Now, every lowered counter, every rail bolted to the wall, every careful adjustment screams at me like a bad joke I was the only one not laughing at. You step into our living room, you don't see a home. You see a workshop I built for one purpose, her comfort. I arranged the couches in wide arcs so she could wheel through without bumping anything. I installed swing-away hinges on the doors so they opened extra wide. I even sanded down the threshold so the wheels wouldn't catch. Every nail, every screw, every drop of sweat was me trying to make her prison a little less cruel. But when you know she's been walking all along, when you know she's been moving around just fine behind your back, it all flips. The grab bars in the bathroom look less like lifelines and more like props in some twisted play. The shower bench I mounted to the tile. How many hours did I kneel there, scraping grout, tightening bolts? Now it's just a symbol. Proof I gave up weekends, bike rides, nights with friends, just so she could keep performing helpless. The kitchen's the worst. I lowered every counter by 2 inches, rehung cabinets at just the right height, even built a pull-down shelf system so she could reach the cereal. She told me it made her feel independent, that it gave her dignity back. I believed her. God, I believed every damn word. Now I run my hand along those counters and it feels like running my palm over my own chains. This house ain't a home, it's a trap I built for myself. I find myself in the bedroom standing in front of her dresser, the one I refinished when she said she wanted something lighter, easier to move. My gut's already heavy before I even open the drawers. Clothes stacked neat, folded sweaters, things we never use. But something tells me to check deeper. Bottom drawer, way in the back, under layers she hasn't worn since before the accident. That's where I find it. A small metal box, beat up, lock already busted. It's the kind of box you toss old photos in. Except when I pop it open, it isn't pictures staring back. It's cash. Stacks of 20s bound with rubber bands. $2,000, maybe more. Sitting there quiet like it's waiting for me to count it. Beside it, a spare key with a cheap plastic tag. On the tag, in her handwriting, a single letter. R. And then the note. Folded paper written in the round curves of the woman I thought I knew. Freedom Fund. R says we can get a place together by Christmas. Just need to figure out how to handle W. Handle me. Like I'm not her husband, not her caretaker, not even a man, just a problem on a checklist. The box feels heavy in my lap. Heavier than it should. My mind reels back over the last 3 years. Every sacrifice, every time I heard her sigh and told myself it was pain, not guilt. And all along she was plotting an exit strategy, planning a future that didn't have me in it except as an obstacle to remove. The phone buzzes in my pocket and I almost throw it. It's Frank. My one friend left, my partner at work. I answer because I need to hear a voice that isn't lying to me. You sound off, he says right away. Everything okay? Frank, I say, voice flat as the drywall I hung last summer. Let me ask you something. Do you think I'm pathetic? Silence on the line. Long enough I hear him shifting his weight. What? Where's that coming from? Just answer me straight. He sighs like he's searching for the right breaker to flip. Will, you one of the most decent men I know, maybe too decent. You give away parts of yourself people don't even ask for. Too decent, I repeat, the words sour in my mouth. That's what you think? Look, man, I love Tara, but he hesitates, then pushes through. Sometimes I think you sacrifice too much. That supervisor job you turned down. Nights out you don't take. Everything's always about her. You rush home like you're on call, but she... He stops himself. But she what? My voice is sharp now. I seen her, Will, around town, at Murphy's bar a few times. My hand grips the box so tight the metal bites into my palm. Murphy's has stairs, Frank. Yeah, he says softly. That's why I thought therapy was working real good. I can't even answer. He knows it, I know it. And suddenly the quiet on the line feels like a graveyard. Man, he says finally, voice low, whatever's going on, you don't deserve it. I hang up without another word. I'm back in the bedroom staring at the note in my hand, the one that calls me a problem to handle, and for the first time since this morning I stop feeling like a victim. I start feeling like a man with a job to do. The thing about being an electrician is, you stop believing in miracles a long time ago. Nothing just happens. Lights don't flicker by accident. A breaker doesn't trip because it's moody. There's always a weak point, a load too heavy, a connection that's loose. You find it, you fix it, you move on. That's the rhythm I know. So after the phone messages, after the cash box and the note calling me something to handle, I do the only thing that makes sense to me. I switch into work mode. Not husband mode. Not heartbroken fool mode. Work mode. By Monday morning, I've already ordered a set of micro cameras off the shelf. Little things, wireless, about the size of a smoke detector or an outlet cover. Nothing fancy, nothing obvious. I tell myself I'm just updating the system. The lie tastes sweet because it's not for her, it's for me. I spend the afternoon climbing ladders, screwdriver in hand, installing my new eyes. One in the living room where she scrolls endlessly, another in the kitchen near the counter I lowered for her. A third in the hallway, covering the path from bedroom to front door. Each one clicks into place like a breaker sliding home. Quiet, smooth, hidden. What you doing, honey? Oh? She asks from her chair, rolling in while I'm tightening one against the ceiling. Updating the smoke detectors, I say without missing a beat. Old one's expired. She nods absently, thumbs busy on her phone. Maybe texting him, maybe not. Doesn't matter. The cameras are watching now, not just me. But I don't stop there. That night I sit at the kitchen table with my laptop open, fan whirring like a nervous heartbeat. I type in the search bar things I never thought I'd type. Spyware, monitoring apps, programs built for parents checking on kids, or employers checking on staff. Illegal in some cases, unethical in others, necessary in mine. An hour later her phone is no longer just her phone. It's a feed straight to me. Texts, calls, GPS, the whole map of her lies in real time. Every ding, every buzz, every love you to Rick. I'll see it before she can even delete it. I sit back in the chair, arms crossed, staring at the glow on my screen. This ain't anger anymore. This is clarity. This is the difference between a short circuit frying the whole house and a man who knows how to flip the right switch. And while I'm at it, I type out a message on her phone, not from me but from her, just one line sent to Rick. Change of plans. Let's meet Friday night at your place. I'm done pretending. Time to end this charade. T. I stare at it for a long moment before I hit send. The bubble floats away green on the screen, and with it the fuse is lit. I put the phone back exactly where she left it, like nothing ever happened. Here's the thing. People think betrayal makes you loud, makes you break things, makes you want revenge. But the truth is, betrayal makes you quiet, focused, cold. The way I feel climbing inside a dark panel box with one flashlight, wires hissing around me. Every system has a weak point. Every circuit has a breaking load, and every lie has a day it collapses under its own weight. Friday night, Tara and Rick are gonna learn that the man they laughed at, the Saint Will, the caretaker, the joke, is a lot better at finding overloads than they ever imagined. The first crack in a wall doesn't look like much. A hairline, barely visible unless the light hits it right. But I know better. You don't ignore cracks. You follow them. You see where they lead. Tuesday morning, I pull into Murphy's bar. The place Tara claims is impossible because of the steps. 10 a.m, place is half asleep, smells like stale beer and disinfectant. The only soul inside is Dave, tending the bar like always. We went to high school together. He still wears the same chain, still has the same laugh. And Will Bright, he says, grinning. Man, it's been forever. How's Tara doing? She's good, I answer, voice flat. Hey, quick question. Tara was talking about maybe having a birthday party here. April the one to ask? Yeah, he says, drying a glass. She handles all that. But she don't work mornings, nights only. He pauses, like something just clicked. She and your wife real tight, you know? Tara's in here all the time. Her, April, that nurse friend, sometimes that big guy with the gym. What's his name? Rick. They always sit in that booth over there. He points. Booth's up 3 steps from the main floor. Stairs. No ramp, no wheelchair access. She walks? I ask, though it ain't really a question. Dave looks at me, confused. Well, yeah. Figured therapy was working real good. She moves around fine when she's here. I thank him, keep my face calm, and walk out into the sunlight that feels like it's got teeth. Another crack right there in broad daylight. That evening, I park across from Rick's gym in my old truck, engine off, eyes on the rear entrance. Place is supposed to be closed at 6. At 7:05, Tara's Honda slides into the alley like it belongs there. She climbs out a smooth, no ramp, no struggle, no chair, walks straight inside like she's been doing it every day. 2 minutes later, my phone buzzes. Therapy running late. Don't wait up, love you. I snap a picture of her walking through the door. Proof. Not for me, I already know, but for later. For whoever needs to see it. Insurance, court, maybe the whole damn internet. Back home, I open my laptop. Papers spread across the table, bills, claims, all the admin she always couldn't handle with her hands. I've been the one faxing forms, signing, submitting. I never paid attention before. Why would I? I trusted her. But now I see it. Claims for modification she never used. Thousands for adaptive equipment, for necessary therapy, for home health care she never needed. Insurance paying out like a busted pipe while she laughed with Rick and stacked her freedom fund. Each folder I open is another crack spreading across the wall of the life I thought I built. And instead of panic, I feel calm. Colder than calm, patient. People still see me as the fool, the caretaker husband who gave everything. But that's ending. Tonight, I'm not the victim in the story. I'm the man taking notes, marking evidence, connecting wires until the system shorts itself out. And when it does, the light that flashes will burn more than just me. Friday night drops heavy, like the air itself knows what's coming. I've been waiting all week, lining up every wire, every switch, every piece of evidence. Tonight is not about me yelling or breaking. It's about flipping the right breaker and letting the whole system collapse on its own. At 9 sharp, I'm parked right in front of Rick's apartment building, truck lights off, engine humming low. Tara's Honda is already there, snug in the lot like it's got its own reserved space. My spyware says she's inside. No therapy, no girls' night, just her and Rick. I dial her number. She answers on the 4th ring, breathless. Hey, honey, she says. Just got home. I look at her car right in front of me. That's funny, I reply. I'm staring at your Honda right now. It ain't in our driveway. It's parked outside Rick Donnelly's place. Silence. I let it stretch until it hurts. Tara, I press, voice flat. You there? She stammers. I can explain. Good, I cut her off. Come down here. Bring Rick. I'd love to hear both your explanations. I hang up, pocket the phone, step out of the truck, lights flicker on upstairs. Shadows move fast like roaches when you kick the lights on. Then the front door swings open and Rick steps out, shirtless, jeans half zipped, trying real hard to look tough. Behind him, Tara appears, dressed but messy, hair wild, lipstick smeared. And she's not in her chair. She's standing barefoot on the concrete steps. The crowd forms quick. Neighbours leaning over balconies, doors creaking open, phones already aimed at us. Rick shifts nervously, hands out like he's going to calm me down. Will, man, this ain't what it looks like. I laugh once, sharp. Really? 'Cause it looks like my wife's been screwing you while I've been breaking my back taking care of her. Looks like my disabled wife just walked down 2 flights of stairs without breaking a sweat. The crowd murmurs. A phone camera zooms. Tara's eyes dart everywhere but me. How long? I demand, voice rising. How long you been walking? She swallows hard. 6 months, she whispers. I step closer. Say it louder. Her voice cracks. 6 months. I've been able to walk 6 months. The gasps from the balconies echo like a choir. And how long you been with Rick? I shoot next. Rick tries to backpedal toward the door, but the crowd's eyes pin him in place. 8 months, he mutters, then louder. 8 months, okay? 8 months. 8 months of lies. While I spoon-fed her, built her world, sold my pride for her comfort. 8 months, I repeat, turning so the neighbours can hear it clear. So my wife was already cheating before she dropped the chair act. While I was doing everything, they were laughing at me. Tara starts crying, real tears this time, mascara running. She pleads, Will, please, not here, not in front of everyone. But I'm done playing St. Will. Here is perfect, I bark. All these people deserve to know the woman they've been pitying. The woman collecting disability checks, scamming insurance, selling prescriptions. Tell them, Tara, tell them, Tara. Tell them about the group chat where you and your girls called me Saint Will, joked about how pathetic I was. Phones tilt closer. People are recording every word. Rick looks pale, sweat on his chest catching the streetlight. Tara sobs harder but says nothing. I throw my arms wide. You wanted a show? Here it is. Welcome to the truth. And the truth, under those buzzing street lamps, in front of neighbours and strangers and glowing phone screens, tastes like freedom. Not sweet, not clean, but raw, sharp and irreversible. This is only the first collapse. The wall is still standing, but tonight the cracks went public. The morning after feels nothing like victory. I wake to the sound of my phone buzzing on the nightstand like it's trying to crawl away. Missed calls stacked like dominoes. Texts rolling in non-stop. Facebook notifications piling up. The first video I open, blurry, shaky, filmed from a balcony, already has thousands of shares. The caption, Devoted husband exposes cheating, lying wife who faked being disabled. I can hear my own voice in the clip, calm, steady, demanding answers. I can see Tara's face streaked with tears, Rick shrinking behind her. The neighbours gasping, the crowd recording. People in the comments call me a saint, a hero, a fool, a victim. Some praise me, some laugh at me. I can't even finish scrolling before another notification cuts in. The TV in the living room is on low, but I catch the words. Local man uncovers disability fraud in dramatic confrontation. Authorities may get involved. I shut it off. The silence that follows isn't peace, it's pressure. My lawyer's office feels colder than the weather outside. Jim Morrison, sharp suit, sharper eyes, sits across from me at a polished oak table. Papers spread between us like evidence in a trial that's already begun. Will, he says carefully, you did the right thing exposing her. Public opinion's on your side, but this is bigger than you now. He slides a document across the table. A subpoena. The fraud unit wants my statement. The insurance company wants their audit. The DA is circling. I rub my temples, trying to process. The whole world saw me faire pour. Switch. Now the law wants me to explain the wiring. Then Jim drops the real bomb. He places a fresh bank statement at the front of me. Red numbers everywhere. The money's gone. I stare at the page like it's in another language. What do you mean, gone? Tara's in custody. She made bail yesterday, Jim replies, but she's not the one who touched the accounts. Look here. He points to the fine print, withdrawals stamped with an authorization code. It was done through power of attorney. She signed it over months ago. To Gina Martinez. Gina, her best friend. The one always in the group chat, always laughing in the background. The room spins. My hands grip the edge of the table to steady myself. How much? Jim doesn't blink. $47,000. Every cent you had saved. Your life savings. Her disability checks. Even the last deposit. It hits harder than Tara's betrayal. Money isn't love, but it's survival. It's years of sweat and overtime gone, in the space of a forged signature. She set us all up, Jim says. Not just you. Rick's gym accounts too. Gina was handling his bookkeeping. She cleared him out as well. My chest feels hollow. For a second I almost laugh. I thought Tara and Rick were the masterminds weaving this web around me. Turns out they were flies too. I sign where Jim tells me, promise to come back for another round of statements, and step out into the daylight that feels like a courtroom spotlight. Frank is waiting by my truck, face tight, hands jammed into his jacket pockets. Will, he says, voice low, you need to get down to the community centre. Right now. Why? He looks around like the air itself might be listening. Because everybody's there. Tara, Rick, and Gina just showed up. My heart doesn't speed up. It slows down, steady as a drum before the first strike. The wave that started last night hasn't crested yet. It's still building, and I'm about to be pulled straight into the centre. The community centre parking lot buzzes like a hornet nest. Cars crammed bumper to bumper, people spilling onto the sidewalks, voices overlapping in a low roar. The air smells like coffee from the vending machine inside, sweat, and that particular edge of gossip made flesh. Doors creak open, chairs scrape across the old tile floor. Everyone's here for the same show, even if nobody admits it. When I step through, the room tilts toward me. Conversations dip, then rise again, faster, sharper. Tara sits near the front, hair unbrushed. Makeup gone, looking smaller than I've ever seen her. Rick slouches 2 chairs over, arms crossed like a man waiting for a beating. Their shame is visible, raw. But that's not the headline. The headline arrives on 4 wheels, smooth as sin. A silver Mercedes slides into the lot like it doesn't care the crowd is already packed. Head swivel. The engine cuts, the door opens, and out steps Gina. She's not hiding. She's glowing. Designer jacket, lips painted sharp, nails manicured into daggers. She walks through the crowd with heels that click like punctuation, while whispers ripple outward. She's not the sidekick anymore. She's the star. "You're looking at me like I'm the devil," she says, raising her chin. "But let's be honest. Who here's really innocent?" The crowd shifts, some muttering, some filming. Her eyes flick to Tara and Rick, then to me. Cold, calculating. "Tara stole disability checks," she continues, voice loud enough to cut the air. "Rick slept with clients, lied for insurance claims. And Will?" She smirks. "Sweet Saint Will. He knew more than he wants to admit. He loved being the martyr, loved the attention. You all made him a hero last week, but don't pretend he didn't enjoy the spotlight." My hands clench, but I don't move, not yet. She paces like she's addressing a jury. "I didn't create this mess. I just managed it. Somebody had to. You'll want to point fingers, but maybe ask yourselves why you didn't notice sooner, why you ignored the cracks." The crowd murmurs, uncertain. Tara bursts out. "You used me, Gina. You set me up." Gina laughs, a dry sound. "No, honey. You used yourself. I just made sure the bills got paid while you were too busy playing helpless." Rick pushes forward, jaw tight. "You robbed me blind. You destroyed my business." "You destroyed your own business," she shoots back. "All I did was keep records. You signed off every number I handed you." Then she pauses, lets the silence stretch, and smiles like a magician, about to reveal her trick. "But I'm feeling generous. Here's my offer. I'll return half the money. 25 grand, enough for a new start. In exchange, one of you takes the fall, stands up in court, says it was all their idea, 1 scapegoat, 2 survivors, a fair trade." The room freezes. Whispers explode again. Someone swears under their breath. Tara turns to me, eyes wet. "Will, maybe it's the only way we could—" I stare at her, and something inside me breaks clean. The last thread of that Saint Will image she held onto. I hear her trying to sell me on prison like it's a favour, and I feel nothing but disgust. The crowd's tension coils tighter. Phones raised higher. Gina watches us like she's already won, like the stage is hers. Then she flicks her wrist, checks her watch, and turns toward the door. "Well, no takers, suit yourselves." She strides back to her Mercedes, heels clicking over the pavement. The crowd shifts to block her, voices rising, hands pointing. "You think you already won?" someone shouts. She smiles, smooth and poisonous. "I don't think, I know." The car door slams, the engine growls, and she tears out of the lot, leaving the calm crowd coughing on exhaust and outrage. I stand there in the swirl of voices and camera flashes, and for the first time I realize, truth isn't clean. It never was. It's jagged, it cuts both ways, and it leaves scars no matter which side you stand on. And Gina? Gina just reminded us all, villains don't always run. Sometimes they drive away in style. The house feels hollow when the storm outside finally settles into steady rain. Every drop on the window sounds like a clock ticking down, like something waiting to be uncovered. I can't sleep. Haven't really slept in days, so I do what I always do when something doesn't add up. I go looking for the missing wire. It's past midnight when I find it. A thin leather journal tucked at the back of Tara's closet under a pile of scarves. My chest tightens as I thumb the cover. I shouldn't read it. But then again, I shouldn't have had to. The pages whisper as I turn them. Her handwriting curls across the paper, messy where the ink smudged with tears, sharp where anger pressed the pen too hard. And what I read doesn't just sting, it twists. I hate myself for lying to Will. He's too good, too steady, but I feel trapped by his goodness. Rick makes me feel alive. I know I'll burn in hell for this. Will calls me his angel. I want to scream. I'm not his angel, I'm his prisoner. But he doesn't see it. He loves me like I'm still broken, and part of me loves that he loves me like that. Page after page. Regret tangled with desire. Fear laced with calculation. She knew she was using me. She also hated herself for it. And somehow that makes it worse. She wasn't some cold machine. She was human. Human enough to feel shame, but not enough to stop. I close the journal, but her voice doesn't stop. Because I also found something else earlier. An old voice memo saved on her phone. Curiosity or cruelty, I hit play. Her voice fills the room, softer than I expected, almost fragile. Sometimes I wonder if Will knows. He looks at me with those patient eyes, like I'm glass, like I'm holy. I don't deserve it. But I can't give it up, not yet. Not until I know where I'm going next. There's a pause, then a shift. The voice hardens. He thinks devotion is love, but devotion is just predictable. I need more than predictable. I sit there in the dark, the rain tapping the glass like fingers, and for the first time I see her not as a villain, not as a victim, but as something in between. Flawed, dangerous, real. And that's when it hits me. I wasn't just lied to. I helped build the lie. Every time I ignored the signs, every time I let myself be the saint, every time I enjoyed the sympathy people gave me for sacrificing so much. I wasn't just a prisoner. I was complicit in my own chains. The mask I wore, husband, martyr, protector, shatters just as much as hers did. But here's the thing. Once a mask breaks, you can see clearer. I don't want revenge anymore. Revenge is blunt. Revenge is reckless. I want clarity. I want order. I want to map every dirty wire in this system, label it, trace it, and then tear it out. So I spread papers across the table. Bank statements, insurance claims, screenshots from her phone, receipts from Rick's gym. I start a new list, not the one Tara mocked in her chats. My list, a ledger of truth. Step 1, document every dollar. Step 2, track every message. Step 3, follow every wire until I know who's been holding the pliers this whole time. It feels less like rage and more like resolve. I'm not the victim anymore. I'm the man who fixes broken systems. And this one's rotten straight to the studs. Then at 2:14 a.m, my phone buzzes. Unknown number. A single text. We heard you're collecting. Stop digging or you'll regret it. Leave town if you want to stay safe. The rain outside keeps falling, steady as ever. But inside me everything stills. Looks like somebody noticed the cracks I've been tracing. And now they're watching me too. The rain hadn't let up when I called them. Maybe it was fitting. Rain has a way of washing things clean even when the dirt clings. Rick showed up first. Hood pulled low. Shoulders hunched like he expected to be swung on the second he walked in my door. Tara came later, in her chair again. Hair pulled back, eyes swollen from a week of tears. For the first time in months, she actually looked small. We sat in a circle around my kitchen table. No plates, no food, no pretense, just papers, screens, and tension thick enough to choke on. This ain't about forgiveness, I told them, voice flat. I don't forgive either of you, but Gina's the real problem now. She took everything, from you, from me, from the system. We either take her down together or she keeps winning. Rick nodded slow, jaw tight. I'll play ball. She gutted my accounts, left me with debt and no clients. She's poison. Tara's voice cracked when she spoke. I know I've done you wrong, Will, more wrong than anyone should. But Gina, she planned this from the start. I see that now. If we don't stop her, none of us has a life left. For a moment, the only sound was the rain against the glass. Then I opened the folder in front of me, papers sliding across the table like cards in a losing hand. Here's what I've got, I said. Screenshots of her texts, copies of the checks she signed as bookkeeper, insurance forms with her handwriting in the margins, even an audio file where she brags about setting us all up. It's not just betrayal, it's conspiracy. Rick leaned forward, scanning the documents, muttering curses under his breath. Tara pressed a hand to her mouth like she might be sick. The plan built itself as we spoke. Not revenge, not some back-alley payback. Strategy. Step 1. Go public with the fraud. Use the same crowd that tore Tara down to shine a light on Gina. Neighbours, friends, reporters, they'd all be there. Step 2. Line up the legal strike. Work with Detective Martinez and my lawyer Jim Morrison to hand over hard evidence that would stick in court. Step 3. Lock Gina out. Freeze accounts, intercept transfers, make her background scramble before she had time to spin the narrative. The next few days blurred into motion. I was on the phone with banks, pressing for transaction logs. Rick knocked on doors at the gym, pulling clients who'd seen Gina cook the books. Tara dug through her own messages, finding threads where Gina laid out alibis and cover stories. We moved like a crew wiring a whole building, fast, efficient, no wasted movement. At night I compiled everything into a single file, my secret weapon, a list of witnesses, signed statements, screenshots, the audio file of Gina bragging, every wire labelled, every circuit mapped. If she wanted to play games, I was ready to short the whole thing in one flip. By Thursday we had the meeting set. Community centre again, the same place the crowd had seen Tara fall from grace. This time it wouldn't be about her lies, it'd be about Gina's empire, but the closer we got, the heavier the air felt. Friday morning I reached for my phone ready to double-check my files, except the screen was black, dead, wouldn't turn on, wouldn't charge. I pulled the SIM, shoved it into a backup burner I kept from work, empty, no documents, no recordings, my entire case wiped clean, somebody had gotten to it. And sitting at that table with Rick and Tara staring at me, my stomach dropped to ice. Because if my phone was gone, it meant one thing: Gina wasn't the only one watching me. Someone close had sold me out. Part 11. Public Reckoning. The parking lot outside the community centre is packed wall to wall. Cars jammed against curbs, camera vans idling with antennas raised, lights blinding against the drizzle. The low hum of 100 conversations turns sharp the second I step forward. Phones rise, microphones stretch on long poles, the air buzzes like a live wire ready to blow. I climb the short steps to the centre's porch, papers in one hand, a USB drive in the other. My heart's pounding steady, not fast, like the deep thump of a generator running under load. I'm not here for revenge, I'm here to lay the circuits bare. My name's Will Bright, I say, voice carrying in the cold air. You've heard pieces of my story. Tonight you're going to hear the whole of it. I lift the mic someone pushes toward me, then click the drive into the speaker system the volunteers rigged. Static hums, then Gina's voice cuts through crisp and sharp like she's standing right there. While you three were playing your little drama, I was planning my retirement. Every fraudulent payment, every insurance claim, every lie you told, I documented all of it. And when the time was right, I took what I earned. Gasps ripple through the crowd. I let it hang, then slap down a bank statement on the table. Enlarged copies taped to boards stand behind me. Red lines, withdrawals, her signature on power of attorney forms. This ain't rumour, this ain't gossip. This is theft, fraud, and a manipulation dressed up as friendship. The murmurs rise into shouts. Faces in the crowd twist from disbelief to anger. They've seen fraudsters on the news. But this was personal, a neighbour, a woman who played them all. Cameras flash as Gina herself pushes forward through the line, flanked by two men in dark coats. She looks unbothered, maybe even smug, makeup perfect under the floodlights. You people are pathetic, she sneers. You let him spin his little sob story while ignoring the truth. Every single one of them, Tara, Rick, even Saint Will, lied. And I've got proof. She waves a folder like a sword. Receipts, screenshots, his texts. Want to know what your hero's been doing while you praised him? He planted spyware on his wife's phone. He sent fake messages. He staged half of this. He's no saint. He's a criminal too. The crowd shifts uncomfortably. Eyes flick back to me. For a heartbeat, doubt spreads like smoke. I take a breath, steady as a breaker switch. Yeah, I did plant spyware. You know why? Because without it, none of you would have heard her voice admitting she set us up. Without it, none of you would have seen the proof she was gutting every account in reach. She calls it proof I'm dirty. I call it evidence she's guilty. I cue another clip. Gina again, laughing into her phone. Because I could, because you made it easy, because you were all so focused on your own drama you never saw me coming. The crowd erupts. Some yell for a police. Others chant her name like a curse. Phones point at her, recording every second. The tide has turned, and she knows it. Her smile falters. For the first time, I see fear in her eyes. She tries to shout over the noise, but it's too late. Sirens cut through the night as 2 cruisers pull up. Officers step out, collecting the documents, shaking hands with my lawyer. The wave is bigger than her now. She pulls free of the crowd, bolts for her Mercedes. Cameras chase her, lights strobe. She peels out of the lot, tires screaming, but it doesn't matter. Her face, her words, her crimes, they're already everywhere. By morning, no door in the city will close quietly behind her. The crowd disperses slowly, like smoke after a fire. Rick leans against a wall, hollowed out. Tara sits near the curb, mascara streaked down her cheeks. For the first time in weeks, she doesn't look defiant. She just looks tired. I sit beside her, not close, not touching. She whispers, voice cracked. You were right. The truth did set us free. She shakes her head. But it cuts deeper than the lies ever did. I don't answer, because she's right. The truth freed me, sure, but it left me standing in ashes. My phone buzzes. Unknown number again. I almost ignore it, but something in my gut makes me answer. Mr. Bright. A woman's voice, calm, official. Detective Martinez, we need to talk. This isn't just fraud anymore. What we've uncovered goes deeper than you think. Much deeper. The line clicks dead. I stare out at the wet asphalt, neon lights smeared by rain, and realize tonight wasn't the end. It was just another switch flipped on a system bigger than I imagined. Months slide by, winter melts into spring, and the house that once felt like a cage finally breathes again. The sound of a drill echoes through the hallway as I change out locks one last time. Boxes scrape across the floor, filled with equipment I'll never need again. Grab bars, lowered shelving, the shower bench. Each piece carried out to the curb feels less like trash and more like shedding skin. Outside, the neighborhood hums with ordinary life. Kids ride bikes, someone's mowing a lawn, a dog barks 3 doors down. My old truck idles steady in the driveway, oil changed, engine tuned. It's a rhythm I trust, not loud, not fast, but reliable. The news has moved on mostly. I catch glimpses sometimes, Tara taking a plea deal, agreeing to restitution and therapy instead of prison. She looks different now, humbled. Rick's gym never reopened. Word is he moved across state lines, trying to start over with nothing but debts and bad press. And Gina? She's still fighting lawsuits, still flashing her cold smile in the courtrooms, but her empire's rubble. Me? I keep it simple. Work during the day, tools in hand, circuits under my fingers. Evenings, I patch drywall, repaint walls. I sold the motorcycle years ago. Maybe one day I'll get another. For now, I take pride in fixing smaller things. My profile at work changed too. No more overtime just to cover bills. I take the hours I want. I keep weekends mine. One morning, I carry my last box of useless gear out and toss it in the truck bed. I grab a cup of coffee, step onto the porch and sit down. For the first time in years, the house feels like mine, just mine. The steam curls up from the mug, and I hear my own voice in my head, low and certain. Truth will set you free, but damn, sometimes it rips you open first. I'm still here. The sky is pale blue, quiet, except for a neighbour's radio playing a slow saxophone line. The notes float easy, like the world forgot about the chaos and just wants to hum again. My phone buzzes once on the armrest. Unknown number. For a second, my chest tightens, the reflex of a man who's lived too long with bad news. I let it ring, let the sound fade into the background. Maybe it's opportunity, maybe it's trouble, maybe it's both. Doesn't matter right now, because freedom isn't a finish line, it's a process, one day at a time, one truth at a time. I take a sip of coffee, lean back in the chair, and let the silence settle in. A silence deep enough to feel like a pause before the next act of life. And for once, I'm okay with that.